What does the future battlefield actually look like? It might not begin with tanks rolling across the battlefield or fighter jets dominating the skies. Instead, it could all start with something much smaller. A drone taking off from the ground, a radar scanning the sky, an unmanned vehicle moving without a driver, and a network of various systems working together to detect, monitor and respond to threats. In Slovakia, NATO forces are testing capabilities just like these. The exercise brings together drones, counter-drone systems, unmanned ground vehicles, communication technologies, and military personnel from various NATO nations. However, this is more than just a technology demonstration. It is part of a broader NATO effort to determine how emerging technologies can be tested and rapidly integrated into existing military forces. This initiative is known as the Task Force X Eastern Flank Deterrence Initiative, or TFX-EFDI, and what NATO is testing here could offer a glimpse into how future military forces will operate on the battlefield. At first glance, this location looks like an ordinary military training ground. Personnel move across the field, drones are positioned on launch pads. Meanwhile, radar and detection equipment stand nearby. But upon closer inspection, the technology on display tells a different story. Various unmanned systems are being tested simultaneously. Some drones are being prepared for launch, others are already airborne. Ground-based systems monitor the training area, and unmanned vehicles traverse the terrain. The goal is not merely to prove that these machines can operate. The real question is, can this technology provide a tangible advantage to NATO forces? And this distinction is crucial. Modern militaries already employ drones and various unmanned systems. The real challenge lies in integrating this technology with existing soldiers, vehicles, sensors, and command systems. And this is where TFX-EFDI comes into play. The Eastern Flank Deterrence Initiative focuses on strengthening NATO's deterrence and defense capabilities along the alliance's eastern flank. This region stretches from the high north down to the Black Sea. NATO considers the area to be of significant strategic importance. Under NATO Allied Land Command, LANDCOM, this initiative brings together NATO member nations and industry partners to test emerging technologies. A key concept here is speed. Instead of waiting years to develop entirely new military systems, NATO can also test technologies that are already available. These technologies can then be tested in a military environment. Their advantages can be evaluated. Their shortcomings can be identified. And if proven useful, the technology has the potential to be integrated into existing NATO forces. This approach is increasingly important because the pace of military technological development outstrips traditional military procurement cycles. One of the activities carried out under this initiative is known as Pilot Project 5 or PP5. Spain organizes this project in its capacity as the lead nation for NATO's multinational forward land forces in Slovakia. This training environment provides an opportunity for military personnel and industry partners to work together. Rather than testing each system in isolation, this activity demonstrates how various technologies can operate within the same operational theater. And one of the most prominent technologies involved is the drone. Drones have transformed the modern battlefield. A relatively small unmanned aircraft can provide troops with an aerial view without putting a pilot directly in harm's way. From the air, drones can survey areas that might be difficult or dangerous for soldiers to access. Drones can provide situational awareness. Drones can help monitor movements. And drones can provide commanders with information that might be difficult to obtain through other means. However, the drones tested here are not intended for just one specific type of mission. The broader concept is flexibility. Various drones can perform different tasks. Some can carry cameras and sensors. Other drones can carry small payloads. And some have the potential to operate as part of a larger group of unmanned systems. This kind of flexibility is becoming increasingly important because on the modern battlefield, information can be just as valuable as firepower. As seen in the footage, multiple drones can take off and operate within the same area. We then see a group of drones, or a drone swarm, moving through the sky. This illustrates another important concept. Future battlefields may not involve just a single drone controlled by a single operator. Instead, military forces will likely operate multiple unmanned systems simultaneously with increasing frequency. A larger number of systems can potentially cover a wider area, gather more information, and provide greater operational flexibility. However, this also creates serious challenges. If one side is capable of deploying drones in large numbers, the other side requires the ability to detect and respond to that threat. And this is where one of the most important technologies tested during this activity comes into play. However, NATO's experiments did not stop in the air. On the ground, other technologies are also being tested. One such technology is the uncrewed ground vehicle, or UGV. Unlike traditional military vehicles, UGVs can operate without a human driver inside the vehicle itself. In the footage, one of these vehicles is seen moving across a training area. Other footage shows a UGV equipped with a remote weapon station. This combination is notable because it demonstrates how uncrewed ground platforms can integrate mobility, sensors, and other mission equipment. Operators can remain outside the vehicle while controlling its movement and capabilities remotely. This has the potential to reduce personnel exposure to danger during certain missions. NATO's activities in Slovakia offer an intriguing glimpse into the trajectory of modern military technology. Drones are becoming increasingly vital for battlefield surveillance. Counter-drone systems are being developed to counter the rising threat posed by unmanned aircraft. Unmanned ground vehicles have the potential to perform hazardous tasks while keeping operators in safer positions. And advanced communication systems can link all these technologies into a larger, integrated network. Yet perhaps the most important lesson is this: the future of warfare is not necessarily defined by a single revolutionary weapon. It may well be determined by how effectively various technologies work together. Drones observe, radar detects, counter-drone systems respond, unmanned vehicles maneuver, communication networks tie it all together, and behind it all, humans remain in control. That is precisely what NATO is testing in Slovakia. It is not merely about machines. It is about a concept of warfare built upon interconnected, adaptable technologies that increasingly rely on unmanned systems. If these technologies can be successfully integrated into existing forces, NATO could gain a faster, more flexible means of addressing future threats along its eastern flank. The battlefield is evolving, and NATO is already testing what lies ahead.
Well, EFDI is about enhancing the eastern flank of the NATO alliance through additional capabilities. So right now we have these emerging technologies that are being developed through NATO member nations. It's using those technologies to create a more enhanced deterrence effect against any possible threats in the future. So as we can see right now, for what's happening in Ukraine, drones are definitely a problem. What we're trying to use right now is use the current technology that we see in Ukraine, use the counter-drone technology that's emerging through the defense industry, and basically implement these more autonomous vehicles so that we can take the soldier out of the equation, so that you can minimize casualties and have these pieces of equipment, these autonomous vehicles that are more attritable at minimal cost.
We've seen uncrewed systems, both aerial and ground systems, connected through a range of links from 5G to satellite, all of them acting in conjunction and with synergy, enough synergy to actually prosecute targets through ISR, attack drones, loitering munitions, swarms. We've seen all of the capabilities that in the end, in an isolated manner, wouldn't be very much applicable, but are hugely useful when done and when used in conjunction with one another. For NATO allies, it is very important to keep up with innovation, because as military, we should not focus only on military capabilities stovepiped that we might find in just one place, but we have to look at academia, industry. There's a range of new companies, startups, even more consolidated companies that are bringing great products to bear.
Looking at these technologies that are not being used in the Army right now, it's a way of me maybe thinking about what I would like to have in my platoon, to be more optimized about the tactical movements that I do. And I feel like I can have more ideas of what I want to do with my platoon, yes.